Welcome back, family. Welcome back to the channel. Into this exclusive update from Zimbabwe's political corridors. Please don't forget to hit that subscribe button and share this video because what we are about to unpack is so that more people can join this community as we break down the hidden truths behind politics. The whispers have turned into bold talk and corruption. The murmurs have turned into action. Let's get into it. Seems the ZANU-PF Women's League is now openly corridors are buzzing with tension after the latest developments involving the military's top brass, President Emerson Mnangagwa,
Yes, you heard
and the
that
ever-controversial business magnate
The same
Tagwirei, who has
Tagwirei.
long been seen as
At
untouchable.
first glance,
The
what
kingmaker
seemed
of
like a
2017
simple show of loyalty has
the
now
general
ignited
who
one
once
of the
stood as
most
the
heated
iron
debates
fist
in the
behind
country about
Mnangagwa's
the
rise
rise
to
to
power,
power,
is now facing the heat from a faction within the ruling party that many underestimate
be walking
the
down
women's
if elite
league capture continues
Now,
unchecked. Let's break this down
story
because
begins
at first
with a
glance
highly
some may dismiss
publicized
this
salute,
as internal
a symbolic
party
act
chatter,
with the commander
but those
of the
who know
defense
forces
ZANU-PF
know
know
that
that
nothing
nothing
inside this party
Mnangagwa
is
accidental.
giving what many interpreted
Every
as a
whisper,
stamp of approval
every
not
move,
only to the
every
president
alliance
but
has
also
a
to the
purpose.
creeping culture of corrupt
And when the
gift
women's
politics
league
that
moves
Tagwirei
against
has
you,
become
it is
synonymous
never
with.
just about gender
The
politics
scene
or
was
small
supposed
talk,
to be a
it is
normal
about power.
demonstration of military discipline
Remember,
and
the
respect for
Women's
civilian
League has
authority,
historically been
but
one of the
beneath that
most
salute lies a
influential
far
arms of
darker and
ZANU-PF.
disturbing narrative. It was the Women's
4
League
years
that
now,
played a pivotal
critics
role
have
in
warned that
endorsing
Zimbabwe
Robert
is
Mugabe
sliding
for
into a
decades.
state where the
It was the
military
Women's
is no
League
longer
that
a neutral
propelled Grace
protector of
Mugabe
the
into
nation
the
but
limelight,
rather a tool
and it was the
entangled in
Women's League
political
that became
survival
a
games.
battleground during the final
And when
years
money
of
men like
Mugabe's reign.
Tagwirei are allowed to
Now
build
they have set
influence
their
through
sights on
donations
Chiwenga,
and gifts,
and this
that
signals
always
nothing
happen to
less than an
benefit the ruling
orchestrated
elite.
push to cut
The
his
alarm
political
bells
journey
start
short.
ringing even louder.
Why Chiwenga?
Military scholars and
Why
political analysts
The
describe
answer
this
lies
as
in the
elite
growing
capture,
factional
a dangerous
battles that have
phenomenon
once
where
again
the
gripped
wealthy and powerful
ZANU-PF
consolidate
Mnangagwa is
control
clearly
not only over the
consolidating his
political
hold on the
machinery but
party,
also over
and
the
as
very
we discussed in
institutions
earlier
meant to safeguard
developments,
national
there are deep
integrity.
fears within his camp
In
that
this
Chiwenga
case,
still harbors
the army,
ambitions to
which
take over the
historically held the
presidency,
final say in
perhaps as
political
early as
transitions,
2028,
is slowly being softened with
the
trinkets
so-called
and
gentleman's
privileges, while the
agreement,
broader rank
where
and file
Mnangagwa
remain
was
underpaid
allegedly
and
supposed to hand
disillusioned.
power to Chiwenga
Let
after
us not
2
forget
terms,
that Tagwirei,
seems to have been
often
thrown out of
referred
the
to
window.
as the fuel mogul,
And
has over
Chiwenga,
the years
with his
become the
military
financial
backing
backbone
and war
of
veteran
ZANU-PF.
connections, remains
From
the
funding
single
party
biggest threat
events
to
to supplying
Mnangagwa's
fleets of
dominance.
cars during election
So
campaigns,
how do you weaken a
his
man
money
of
has
Chiwenga's
always been
stature?
present where Mnangagwa's
You don't
political
attack him
ambitions
head-on
needed
with
a
guns
boost,
and generals,
but
you
this
undermine
so-called
his political
generosity
base
has
using
never
the
been
party's
free.
own structures.
It comes with strings
That's
attached,
where the Women's
with
League
power
comes in.
consolidated in fewer and
Cause
fewer
odds were,
hands, the fire
and
has
with the
started
ordinary
burning.
Zimbabwean suffering
The
under the
Women's
crushing
League
weight
is now
of a
said to be
collapsing
mobilizing
economy.
its members across
Now with the
provinces
army
to
boss
openly
saluting
oppose
alongside
Chiwenga's
this
corrupt
continued role in the
ecosystem.
presidium.
Many fear the military is
Publicly
no
they
longer
frame it
standing
as
as a
renewal,
guardian of the
as the
people
need
but
for
rather
fresh
bending
leadership,
towards the
as
dictates
the
of the
importance
ruling
of
elite
putting
and their
forward leaders
benefactors.
who respect women's voices
Voices
and the
of dissent
grassroots.
have been growing louder.
But politically,
This
civil
is about
society
cutting
groups,
off Chiwenga's
opposition
oxygen.
leaders, and
The
even
Women's
quiet
League
murmurs
is one of
within
the
the
most
army
powerful
itself
voting
have
blocs
raised
at
concerns
ZANU-PF
about what this all
congresses.
means for the future of
If
Zimbabwe.
they declare a person finished,
Soldiers who
then
once
that
believed
person's
they were
path
the
to the
vanguard
top
of
narrows
national
dangerously.
sovereignty are now being forced to
And
watch
let's
as
not
their
forget the
leadership
symbolism.
engages in public displays of
Chiwenga
loyalty
represents
to a
the
regime
military
accused of looting the
establishment,
country dry.
the hard power that marched
At the
onto
same
the
time,
streets in
the people in the
2017.
streets are boiling with anger
The
over
Women's League
skyrocketing
represents
prices,
the grassroots
joblessness,
and the civilian power
and corruption
of the party.
scandals that never end.
If they are now declaring
So when
war
they
on
see
him,
generals
it is a
saluting
sign
not
that
just
the flag,
Mnangagwa's camp
but
is fully
indirectly
determined to
saluting the
isolate
machinery of
Chiwenga and
corruption
portray him
symbolized
as
by
unfit to lead the
Tagwirei's
civilian
handouts.
face of
It feels like
ZANU-PF.
betrayal of the highest
This
order.
is how factional battles
Critics
are
are
fought,
warning that
not
this is
always
how
with open
democracies and
confrontation,
nations
but
collapse
with slow,
when the military,
calculated moves
instead
that
of serving
eat away
as a
at your base
balancing
until you
force,
stand alone,
becomes a shield for a corrupt
But of
elite.
course, this is not
The whole
without
point
risk.
of a professional army is to
Chiwenga
stand
is not a
apart
man
from
who
political
takes
gains,
humiliation lightly.
to ensure peace and security
His political
without being
DNA is
captured
one
by
of a
partisan
fighter,
interests.
a soldier who believes
But
in
now
loyalty,
Zimbabweans are
but also
asking,
in discipline
can the
and
army
respect.
still be trusted to act impartially
If the Women's
the chips
League
are
openly
down?
moves to erase his
Or has it
political
already
future,
been purchased
you
and
can be sure
compromised by
Chiwenga will not
Mnangagwa's
just
inner
sit
circle
quietly
and
in
his
the corner.
wealthy allies?
This could trigger
These
a
are
bigger
not just
backlash,
academic questions,
reigniting military
because
civilian
history shows
tensions
us how
within
dangerous
ZANU-PF.
this path can be.
We must remember,
Look at countries where
Zimbabwe's
militaries
politics
became
has always been a
extensions of
delicate
ruling
balance
parties
between
or
the
private
gun and the
billionaires.
ballot.
What
Between
followed
the
was
party
chaos,
and the barracks,
coups, and civil
If
unrest.
the Women's League becomes the
Some
spearhead insiders say that not all is lost. The response from his allies could be fierce. There are still elements within the army that remain patriotic, once upon a time understand that Chiwenga was the first and foremost the one who ensured Mnangagwa's survival against Mugabe's T40 faction. But the fear is that as long as Mnangagwa continues to rely on Tagwirei into State House, and as long as generals are publicly paraded to demonstrate to defend are turning the pressure to conform will crush those dissenting voices within the ranks. And the hunters often become ignore the whispers that some younger officers are beginning to lose faith in the top command, someone else, seeing them as sellouts who have traded the dignity of the military uniform for the vice president, farms, and luxury cars. If the Women's League succeeds in history has taught us that once divisions enter the barracks of ever instability is never far behind. Dramatically. What makes this whole situation even more unsettling is the long-term game plan. Zimbabwe is heading toward a turbulent period with succession battles intensifying. Mnangagwa is a master tactician who knows that power is never given, constant it is always fought for, and the economy sinking by allowing or even quietly encouraging the women. This is when the country needs an impartial military. Mnangagwa avoids being seen as directly attacking the signals being sent to the nation are that the military's top brass is firmly in bed with the very forces that are choking the life out of Zimbabwe. To a loyal wing of the party. It is a psychological message to the ordinary citizen that no matter how much they protest Zimbabweans in the system is rigged because even the guns are aligned with the elite. Unfortunately, and that message is dangerous. These factional wars often mean that the focus remains on who controls power when they believe not the army no longer belongs to the nation, not on creating jobs, not on solving the daily struggles of citizens. Mnangagwa and Tagwirei may believe that these displays of unity and loyalty strengthen their power, but the truth is they may be serving the seeds of future instability. Yet inside ZANU-PF, buy loyalty forever. The obsession especially is not in a country where poverty and hunger gnaw at the hearts of ordinary soldiers, all eyes are on whether Chiwenga will survive this coordinated when attack from the eventually rise, or when disgruntled officers decide they have had enough. No amount of salutes or expensive gifts will protect the ruling elite. Mnangagwa and his allies have the party look powerful in the short term, but in the long run, and it is a recipe for collapse. If all these arms of ZANU-PF unite against Zimbabwe finds even the mighty general could find himself cornered. The salute that was supposed to symbolize respect has instead become a symbol of betrayal in Zimbabwe is never straightforward. A symbol that the military might have already been compromised, has risen from the ashes before. The people's guardians have been absorbed into the ruling elite's corrupt machinery knows how to play the long game. And the question now is not whether this capture is happening, it is whether Zimbabwe has the courage, the leadership, and the people power to resist another round of factional wars that could destabilize. Because when an army salutes corruption, it is no longer the people's army. But one thing is certain, it becomes just another weapon in the arsenal of the powerful few, leaving the rest of the nation defenseless against the greed of its own rulers. What do you think, family? And that is, ladies and gentlemen, is why this story is more than just politics. The beginning of another dangerous chapter in ZANU-PF's endless succession battles. If you found this breakdown important, drop your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe, and stay tuned because the story is far from over.